Wall Street has purchased hundreds of thousands of single-family homes since the Great Recession.
Yep.
Oh, great. That isn't there. Some companies own about like 40% of all the rentals or something crazy. Oh, okay. Since the early 2010s, Tricon, Progress Residential, American Homes for Rent, Invitation Homes, that was big in Minnesota, by the way. By 2030, the institutions may hold some $7.6 million homes. Wow. Or 40% of all single-family rentals on the market.
Yeah, of the rentals that are being held. And I think there's concentrations of those. I know that, remember, Chris, it was 2012. You and I were sitting there, and we were kind of coming out of the abyss of that housing crisis.
Yep.
And we got a report that came in that talked about how 20% of the 22%, I think it was, of the purchases in the Twin Cities metro were made by investors or institutional buyers, like those individuals. That
I remember us talking about that. Yes. On the radio. I remember you talking about that.
Because I couldn't believe, I was going, can you imagine the numbers if that wasn't the case? Because they literally helped us crawl out of that gully of house sales. Because they were throwing another 20% sales on there and made the economy look. I don't know what the big hidden secret is there other than, hey, America is a great place to invest. You see people from all over the world trying to buy American companies. They're trying to buy farmland. They're trying to buy houses here. It works. And so it's stable. It's probably just one more attempt at stabilizing an investment portfolio. But I don't know, maybe there's something bigger to it that I'm not seeing.
Totally. I wonder how many, remember, Andy, some of those programs where they would sell them back to people on like rent to owns. I wonder how many people actually took advantage of that. You know, I used to own a bunch of rental properties, and most of them, I'd say 90% of them, I did rent to owns on them. That's how many worked. One person followed through with a rent to own. Otherwise, I just continued renting to someone else after they left.
Well, I think it becomes a lifestyle for some people. They just like the idea that, you know, they only have a 1 or a 2 year lease, and they like to feel that I can go anytime I want. And they're okay with being charged an extra 12% a year, 10% a year when their rents keep going up. And they seem to be okay with it. I don't know how they can afford it, but and maybe they're not okay with it. That's just what they know. And that, I'm telling you guys, that's why education comes into a big part of this. I think, honest to God, kids in junior high school, when you take the basic economics class, here's how you boil water to make noodles. You should talk about housing and just say, hey, listen, here's the situation. Here's how you get out of it. Here's how you can make money doing it. Or even you say, hey, you want to be a renter? Here's how to be a safe renter. Here's how you negotiate a good lease for you and your family. There's some definite opportunities there for sure to enlighten people with, hey, there's other options other than being a chronic, lifelong renter.
I know, Andy, you've done some classes at the local high school, but I used to do that too. They used to have a course, and then they got rid of it. And one of it was home ownership and understanding it. I remember talking a lot about the foreclosure market because that's what interested people. Oh, we could make money that way. But at the time, many of them were going through the foreclosure process, and they had no idea what was happening. So that was kind of neat. I've sold a couple houses to those kids since, which is really interesting.
Well, and Chris, they say that that's what's inspired a lot of these millennials that to be better buyers. They've talked about how they witnessed, you know, somebody in their family, a friend, their own parents losing their own house in foreclosure, and learning from that, and actually when they're applying their, you know, income and job and housing